Hello and welcome to Efficient Strategy Gaming. Today I'd like to talk to you guys about resistance suppression in the game Hearts of Iron 4. So let's get into it. Now with the La Resistance DLC, we have the occupied territory screen. And as you can see, I invaded Russia here as Germany. You can see all the different provinces and the percentage of resistance in each province. You can tell if resistance is increasing or decreasing by these arrows next to these percentages. Basically, if resistance is increasing, it's going to have an upward pointed arrow colored red. If it's decreasing, it's going to have a downward pointed arrow colored green. And after a certain level, like 35%, a civil war can trigger. So you want to keep resistance low to stay away from civil wars spawning. You also want to keep resistance low to conserve on manpower and equipment. So if you go up to this tab right here, the garrison log, it will show you how much manpower and how much equipment you've lost every 4 hours. And I know you guys don't want to lose manpower and equipment, and up here it shows you the total that you've lost. So if we go over to the territory management area up here, there are two modifiers that you can use to keep resistance low. So you can use a division template. We'll go into that a little bit later to modify resistance, and you can also use occupational law. So let's look at occupation law first, and you can micro each area, each country that you've invaded, and change the occupation law. And you can also set it right here so that it defaults to a certain whatever occupation law that you want. I usually start at martial law, see how things are going, then micro from there. And I start off with martial law because it gives me the best amount of resistance suppression in comparison to how much compliance gain that you get. And as you can see, it doesn't have as well of a compliance gain as all that the occupation laws below it. You can go for harsher laws that actually give you less compliance gain but have other buffs and debuffs. And then what I do after we start getting green arrows here, in other words, compliance raises to a level to where resistance is kind of under control, I just start backing down the occupation laws by one in each territory over here to the right. And you can see I've already backed down some of the occupation laws in certain amounts of these territories after compliance raises over a certain point. So as soon as you see 30% here, 30% compliance, you can start backing down from martial law to military governor, for instance. Third way of modifying resistance is by using your spies. You can set spies to certain provinces that are problem areas and then give them the root out resistance mission, and you'll start to get higher compliance in those areas. The second way of modifying resistance that I want to go back to here is your division template. And basically, this is the division template that I use, and it's optimized to conserve support equipment. If you set up your division template like this, the new equipment that comes out will go to the field first because I've set this division template to reserves. I don't care about the combat width because it is not a combat template. You have one MP support regimen for all these different cavalry regiments, and that's to conserve support equipment. So what I've found is if you create the division template like this as large as possible, it works out that you actually use less support equipment. So that's why I've created the template like this. And the cavalry regiments actually give you higher suppression, and the MP regiment here modifies the suppression bonus by plus 20%. That modification actually remains constant no matter how many cavalry regiments you have in the template. So that's not the reason why we have all these cavalry regiments. It's because when we go under the occupied territory screen here, you can see that these divisions are put out in fractions, and you can actually look at the amount of support equipment that's used in each territory, and you tend to use less support equipment if you have that huge division rather than if you have a very narrow division with more support regiments. Please leave me comments and questions down below if you guys want to know more about resistance suppression. If you have areas that you just can't suppress, I would suggest using your spies to micro those areas. Do not go over martial law, as you take too many penalties and compliance does not raise quick enough. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.